Hello all my doodle friends and welcome back to the doghouse. If you're new here, my name is Beth and I raise multi-generation golden doodle puppies. Well, if you were here for my last video, you know I've still got 3 puppies that are running around my house. 2 have been sold. I'm just holding them for their new owners for another week or 2. And then this is one as of filming right now. This is Colby, and Colby is my last one available from all 12 that we just had. So if you are interested in a doghouse doodle and I still have Colby available, please go ahead and go to my website, doghousedoodles.com, and I can let you know if Colby is still available, and we can maybe make arrangements for you to come and visit and see if he's the right one for you. All right, business out of the way, let's get down to today's video. Because we've just been in a season of picking dogs, I thought it would be good for us to just have a quick chat about how does one pick the right dog for them or their family. I've touched on this in other videos, but I thought I would just go ahead and make a complete video dedicated to this because it is such a question that I answer on the daily for people who are looking for puppies. You know, what kind of puppy should I get? What should I consider? And we kind of go through this little checklist. And so we do it within conversation, of course, but it is sort of like a nice little check. Sorry, I'm also getting the crusties out of their eyes while I talk. This is just a thing I do. So you see me grooming them. Anyways, so it is like a checklist that I kind of go through in conversation with my potential puppy parents. So I want to kind of just go through it with you. And the first thing I would say is to just really think about your family dynamic and their needs. And so, for example, let's talk about living situation. Do you live in a house with a yard? Do you live in an apartment? Is there a designated place for puppies to go potty if you live in an apartment? Things like that. You'll want to know, this is going to influence the breed that you get and their activity level. So for example, you wouldn't want a super large breed if you live in an apartment. You wouldn't want a super active, even smaller breed if you live in a tightly furnished space. You're going to want to have more room. I mean, this makes sense, but sometimes you just want to lay out all the things to be thinking about when you're thinking about getting a puppy. So if you're thinking about getting a puppy out there, look around your space. Where do I live? What would be the best dog for this space? Thinking about the breed, the size, the activity level. Now, within a breed, there are breeds that are considered more active than other breeds, but within a litter of puppies, there are always going to be more active puppies and then less active puppies. And so you could consider a breed of your choice and just go for the less or more active, depending on your needs. I've certainly had many people say they want a laid back dog that's easy to train, and I would just steer them toward those puppies. Whereas I've had other families that are like, we like to go hiking and get out and go camping and go to the lake and do all the things, and they want to hire active puppies so that they can keep up with them. And so I would steer them toward my more active puppies. So you really do want to consider your lifestyle and especially where you live, because that's where you're going to be spending most of your time and where the dog will probably be spending most of their time. So after that, you're going to want to consider your time commitment. What does that mean? Are you going to be at work all day? Will there be somebody home to help train the puppy, let them out, give them the attention and love that they need and deserve? So if you are a single person and you're working all day, you're going to want to maybe hire someone or have a neighbor come over or a family member to let them out during the day. Maybe come sit with them for an hour, or, you know, pop that TV on, or be able to talk to them through one of those new fancy camera things, you know, like just something where you can chat with your puppy, or someone else can come in and give them some snuggles and loves and play with them and get out some of that energy while you're at work. And then when you come home, first thing you're going to want to do is go ahead and play with your puppy, continue that training, maybe take them for a walk and do some more of that bonding with them. You're going to want to have lots of time after work or on the weekends for socializing and training and walking and all of the things. So that's very, very important. The next thing you're going to want to consider is, does anybody in your family, at least who's going to be living with the dog, have any allergies? That will also help determine what breed of dog you're going to get more specifically. Allergy friendly dogs are typically anything mixed with a poodle. Poodles, which is why there are so many dogs that end in poo, like cockapoo, golden doodle, a doodle or a poo. Everything's mixed with a poodle, because poodles are very, very desired for allergy folks like myself. You want something mixed with a poodle for their hair structure, and also because poodles are super duper smart and they're much easier to train. And so you kind of get a double whammy there when you get something that's mixed with a poodle, or just go with a poodle. They're lovely as well. So that's why so many breeds are mixed with poodles, though, because of that allergy-friendly coat they tend to have, and because of their usually their ease of trainability. So that's definitely a consideration also when you're thinking about what breed of dog do I get. So once you kind of have those things narrowed down in your head, you can start researching your breeds. You know, different breeds have some different personalities. Some are more independent, some are more codependent on their humans. A lot of dogs are codependent on their humans, right? But some are more independent, some are more for protection, or some are working dogs, like on a farm. They do great with that. You know, and with the breeds, you also want to obviously check on their activity level. You probably want something that is going to be, you know, if you're just looking for a typical family pet, you're going to want somebody that is going to be active, but and curious and all of that, but maybe that can settle down at night when you're done with the day and you want to go snuggle on the couch. That can kind of come with you and snuggle up as well. So something that's sort of halfway fun and exciting, and you can go and do adventures with, but that can also settle down. This obviously, I'm going with sort of what I look for with my personal dogs. Like I said, some breeds are more protective, while others are more cuddly and affectionate. So you're gonna wanna go with whatever breed is gonna fit your lifestyle. And that goes with their activity level. Some are much more calm, some are much more active and love to run and work. Working dogs especially are very active. The next thing you're going to want to think about are a couple things. One is their health. Certain dogs have health conditions that you might need to take into consideration. For example, we own a Great Dane. Great Danes, he is 10 years old, which is quite old for a Great Dane. He does not have a long life expectancy. They tend to have heart issues, and they often have troubles with something called bloat, which is something with their stomachs, and it can turn on itself, and they have a lot of health issues with that. And so that's something to consider when you're looking at breeds of dogs. You know, what is their life expectancy? What are the major health concerns that are typically associated with that breed? Now, with that said, dogs can pick up a multitude of things. They can have genetic issues. You know, this is not a foolproof thing, but you can sort of understand through some research and get an idea of what you might encounter along the dog's life. So you want to understand their genetics and their health. The other thing you want to consider would be, especially with doodles, grooming. Some dogs don't need any grooming. They might get a bath a few times a year and then they're done, you know what I mean? So yeah, like my Great Dane, he doesn't hardly ever need a bath. I mean, he does get baths a few times, like maybe once a season, but he sheds a lot, and but he doesn't ever need grooming. Like, I don't ever have to really brush him other than to kind of give him a nice scratch and to get off of that excess, but he has very, very short hair that falls out on its own very, very well. So that is a consideration. For example, if you do not want shedding, then you're gonna want something mixed with a poodle or with something that doesn't shed. And so that means you're gonna have to go to the groomers though to get that hair off of them, because their hair is going to grow longer because it doesn't shed. So you'll have to prepare yourself. So you can either have them shedding at home or end up going to the groomers every 6 weeks to get them shaved or clipped or whatever. And then that is definitely a consideration, especially with doodles, who are notorious for having this beautiful teddy-like fur that needs a lot of grooming to keep up. You want to have them brushed out a couple times a week. You want to make sure there's no mats, especially under their arms and their little joint areas. And they definitely need haircuts a lot more often, and obviously a dog that doesn't have such long fluffy hair. So that is for sure a consideration, because that's going to be up to you to either make that appointment or buy a pair of clippers and do it yourself. And that does take time. Once you've researched all of that and you know what kind of breed you're looking for, what you think would probably fit in your lifestyle, you can start to contact breeders or go to the shelter if you want. But you want to make sure that you go and you visit the dog in person if you can. Now, if you live far away and you've researched a breeder and they don't live really close to you, you want to at least get on FaceTime or some sort of video chat with the breeder, with the dogs. You want to see, get a snippet of their house, how they're raised, where they're kept, and just watch them play for a little bit. Really give yourself some time. 30 minutes to an hour is, maybe not an hour, that seems excessive, but just to get a really good, you want to answer all your questions, you want to really have a chat with the breeder. They also are interviewing you to make sure you're a good family and you're a good fit for their dogs. So it's sort of a two-way interview just to kind of get to know each other, make sure that the breeder agrees that this dog would fit in with your lifestyle. They may be asking you some of these same questions, what do you do for a living? Are you home? Well, who's around? They're sort of interviewing you as well to make sure that you are the best person for their breed of dog. And that's very good to have that open dialogue. I've certainly steered some people toward different breeds or not at all. Like they just didn't seem like they were quite ready. Maybe they got caught up in puppy fever, but they really weren't ready to have a dog. And so I was like, why don't you think about it for a little bit longer? There's no rush. This is a big commitment. They live, a good 15 years or so. So, you want to really make sure when you make this decision that it's a good one. So you want to ask the breeder some questions. You want to also ask about their temperaments. Your breeder should know which dogs are more active, which are more mellow, which ones are possibly more fearful, which ones are going to need a little bit more cuddling, which ones are going to be raring to go and super active. So you really want to talk to your breeder about the individual pups and let them know exactly what you're looking for so they can steer you toward the few pups that they might have that fit that criteria. And if they don't, hopefully they'll let you know, well, listen, I only have 2 puppies left. It looks like you want someone that's really calm, and all I have are these crazy little puppies who really need an active family. That breeder should be able to tell you that. An honest breeder will let you know exactly what you should expect so that you don't bring home the wrong dog for your family. You're also going to want to watch the dogs on video. I'm still looking at my notes, sorry. Because you want to sort of assess their personality. And you want to assess, are they playful and can they calm down? If you're like, hey, can you pull them up to the camera? Because you want kind of a calmer puppy and they're squiggling in the breeder's arms. Now, maybe they just woke up from a nap and they just happen to be hyper. But if you feel like after a half an hour that they can't calm down or they can't at least so the breeder can show you in the camera, that might not be the right pup for you. Maybe they're a little bit more active. So you really want to make sure that you are asking the breeder questions and observing through that video chat or in person. Obviously, the best choice would be in person if you're close enough to make that personal visit so you can literally sit on the floor, in a chair, something, even if it's not in with the puppies, just so you can really see, hold them. When you hold your puppy, do they try to squirm away? Are they able to, sit nicely in your hands? Is this a good indication of what you might get when you're at home? Do you know what I mean? So all of our puppies are really well socialized. They should all be able to calm down because they're handled so much. That doesn't mean that I don't have some really active puppies. And if they just woke up from a nap, they are not going to want to sit in your arms for too long. They're going to want to go play. So you have to sit there for a little bit because that's the situation. They just woke up. And then once you're there for a while and they get more calm, then they might come crawl up on you, give you kisses, and then even just lay in your lap or something like that. So those are the things you're going to want to, really focus on when you're looking at, when you go to visit a breeder. Other things you're going to want to ask your breeder, do they have any DNA checks for the parents? Are they aware of any health conditions that the parents might have that could have been passed down to the puppy? And so those are important. Now, if you do your due diligence ahead of time, you'll know whatever breed you're getting, they could be susceptible to X, Y, and Z. You could say, hey, I know this breed is susceptible to these things. Do you happen to have their DNA so I can check if the parents are carriers for these things, or if it's possible that they might, get them more than, say, a different breeder down the road. And their puppies. So you'll want to make sure that you try to have as healthy as a dog you can get with the right temperament, obviously, and all of that. The last thing that many people ask me, and I honestly don't have a big opinion on, is sex. Do you want a boy dog or do you want a girl dog? I don't have a preference, honestly. I have mostly girl dogs because I have a breeding program. So that's just, but it's not because, like, our Great Dane is a boy. I have noticed no difference, and this may be because of the breed, with aggression, with trainability, with hiking up and peeing on furniture, all the classic things that we think about when we're trying to choose a girl dog or a boy dog. So I have not noticed anything. Now, if you've had personal experience and you're like, oh no, I want a female because I don't like the boy's aggression or this or that, or they like to hump everything in sight. Well, guess what? Girl dogs hump things too. In fact, Harper and Maisie hump each other all the time. I know, I'm trying to keep it PG, but it doesn't matter if it's a boy or a girl. You're going to encounter that as well. So I just want to let you know, that's just the personality of a dog. That could be the season of life they're in. That could just be a multitude of different things. So you're not going to really get rid of those things in particular. So I think I kind of got everything. Your living situation, the breed of dog you want to consider allergies. You want to consider grooming. Temperament is number one, I would say, or right up there, I would say, with all of those, to make sure everything just kind of fits in the puzzle pieces of your life and your lifestyle. And so those are the things I would consider. Some of those things you may have to ask your breeder about, or whoever you're getting your dog from. And some of those things you can kind of research online just to get a generalization. So that's how I would pick my dogs. Now, I have a video where I did some temperament testing, and I'm going to try and link that below so that you can see what we do around here to help assess their temperaments. Sometimes I do a formal, it's not that formal. This is not a temperament test to say if they're a good candidate for like a service dog or anything like that. This is a very general, so that I can tell future parents, this is a more calm and neutral dog, where this is a more active dog. A lot of times you'll be able to see it right away in person, but I might be able to give you more insight into that. When they first wake up, they're really calm or they're really crazy, but then they settle in after 15 minutes and they're actually a neutral dog. What you're seeing here is simply after their nap. You know what I mean? Like, they can give you some more insight. So I do have a temperament testing video, and it's something you can even kind of do when you go visit the dogs. You could say, hey, have you temperament tested them? And maybe they don't do that. You can say, well, do you mind if I come play with them separately away from everybody? If you've narrowed it down, grab that little puppy, maybe you can go to a different room and just kind of play with them on their own. Puppies tend to feed off of the other puppy's energy. So if you're going and there's 10 puppies in a pen and you're sitting in there, they're going to go nuts. And that may not be truly indicative of their behavior as a one-on-one dog. So you'll be like, hey, can I pull this one aside? I'm really thinking this is the one. Could I maybe just, go to the next room over, or can you hold back the other ones while I play with this one? Somehow where you can really kind of finalize your decision and see, hey, would we get on, just the two of us? Hi, baby. I know, I'm talking to myself again. And then you can kind of implement maybe some of these temperament testing things. That's where I was going with that, that I've done in this video, which is basically like, I'm going off of my memory here, like lifting up their back leg. Do they try to pull away right away? If I make a loud noise next to them, are they going to cower, or are they going to be like, oh, what was that? And be inquisitive. Either of which are okay things, but you want to make sure that, if you've got a fearful dog, that you're able to handle that. They're just going to be shy and a little bit more fearful, and that means you'll have to be a little more protective on a walk or something like that. You just have a shy dog. It doesn't necessarily mean that's a bad thing, depending, So I feel like I'm throwing a lot of information out at you all at once because I'm trying to just keep talking while I run this video. So sorry if I'm rambling, but I think I got all of my information out. It's a lot to think about when you're getting a dog, but I think if you make a little list, and maybe I'll even include a little checklist with the major points that I just said in the description below. That way you can kind of just go, all right, Beth said to check for this, this, and this, you know, whatever. And you might even see, well, you know what, my lifestyle, I really want to make sure that they can go run, or they can do this, or they can do that, or, you know, like, you're going to have some more specific questions than what I'm bringing up for your particular lifestyle. So, great, Colby. All right, I'm gonna try and get some footage of them playing a little bit so you can see some more puppy footage while I've got them here. I'm super excited that they're still here. I'm in my living room actually right now. Oh, that's the potty tray I was talking about in my last video. You can see actually the little wolves insignia on the side there. We love these potty trays. I get a discount if you are interested in getting them. That's in my description below. I have an affiliate link and a coupon code. I think it's 10% off. So if you're interested, no worries. So I think that's all we wanted to catch up with. Like I said, I'll try and get some video of them playing a little bit before we end this week's talk. And with that said, we'll talk to you soon. Okay, here's some puppy footage. There they are, the three musketeers. That's who I've got left here. We're sort of in the living room. Hi, guys. They always come to me when I start talking. Hello, go play. Come on. So we're just kind of hanging out in here. Sometimes I bring them in here for just a little change of scenery because they get a little bored. I mean, I don't know how. It's such a cute little playroom. But they like a change of scenery. I think they like to sniff around from where the other dogs are. I've got my dogs over there in the doors over there, the laundry room, my big dogs. And they're over in the kennel right now having some playtime. So these dogs are taking advantage of this big room in here. Hi, guys. Hello. Are we having a wrestle? Are we having a wrestle? You're so cute. You're so cute. Yes, you are. Yes, you are. Hello. Hello, Pepper. So like I said in my last video, Pepper's going home early June. And we've got Nachos leaving around the 20th or 21st of this month. And so far, I do have some people interested in Colby, so I'll just keep you abreast of that one. He may be gone by the next video. We will see. One day at a time around here. They're so cute. I'm just trying to enjoy them while I still have them. Oh, you're so cute. You're so cute. It's definitely a different household when we've got our puppies on the ground here. It's just such a playful, louder, but more energy household. It's so cute. And we just love having them. They are at an age where they are just starting to play a little harder. They'll bite each other's tails, but they're still learning. That's how they learn how to play and how to, keep themselves under control too. If they hurt each other, they'll let out a little whine and, they learn. Hi. 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 Are you using your big boy voice? Yeah? Yeah. Oh, dubba. Yes. Wrestle, wrestle, wrestle. Here, come play with toys. Where's your chicken? Where's your chicken? Who's gonna get the chicken? I think it squeaks. Hold on, here we go. Trying to get it. I can't get the spider. Oh, there we go. Who wants the chicken? Oh, Nacho does. Nacho wants the chicken. Nacho wants the chicken. Okay, go get it. Go get the chicken. Dive bomb. This was my setup. I was just sitting on the floor talking to you guys. I haven't cleaned it up yet. This is me. This is real life. Oh, yes. Having a wrestle. Having a tug. Tug of war. Get the chicken. You guys are so cute. This is Barkley's giant bed. Of course, all the puppies can fit on it. It's so cute. Get that chicken. Aw. All right, guys. Well, I'm going to go ahead and sign off here for this week. If you like this week's video, please go ahead and give it a thumbs up. And if you guys wouldn't mind subscribing, that way we could all spend some more time together. In the meantime, we hope you have a wonderful week, and we'll see you all in next week's video. And we'll see if this little guy is still here. Say bye-bye. Say bye-bye. Say bye, Colby. Bye, everybody. Have a great week.